It is a morning, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope everyone has had a good and safe and pleasant weekend. Well, to be honest with my fellow viewers out there, my fellow talkers, that my day was not, uh, or should I say, my weekend was not so pleasant, and there were reasons behind that. Well, number one, I think I re-aggravated my knee, which has been kind of giving me some bother in the last few days. Today now, Monday, September 5, September 6. Slight improvement, but could still get a little bit better. Maybe bit of might do the trick with that. So I was looking at a video there last night about these anti or anti-vaxxers about blocking an ambulance to get into the medical facility. And for those who saw my video there last night, well, quite honestly, I do anti-vaxxers. So, and this is for the anti-nurses as well. If they're going to be in the professional healthcare as in to care for the patients, they should have the vaccine. Like it or not, either you anti-nurses, either you take the vaccine and protect yourself from other individuals. Now, if you want to continue being anti, well, there are options. Consider yourself no job and no paycheck. Oh, and by the way, just to make it worse, that may stick what I have been hearing. Rightio, we're live here on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. And a very warm welcome and a very good evening to those here on Twitch and YouTube, respectively. We're broadcasting live on three platforms, and yes, we are going to get rid of that. So here is today's news. Mr. Varaka tells Fine Gael TDs as an extensive booster program is needed for this winter. Well, that's going to be interesting for some. Well, might be good news for some, and who the heck knows what is going to happen, to be quite fair. That I dare straight. But if there is a winter vaccine going to be out this year, well, I would wisely suggest and encourage to take that vaccine as I currently speak. So that's what I would suggest everyone should do. So right now I am just putting out a link out there for everybody. So for those who like to join in the show, all you have to do is just click on the link right here on Restream, Twitch, and Twitter to join in the show. And do enjoy the show. That's what the show is about. Enjoy the show. And the key to this show is being animative. And a special shout out to, I'm going to keep her unnamed, but I will not put it on the screen. Special shout out to a TikToker who I was talking to well over a few hours ago. And a special shout out to her. And I hope you are having a very good evening. And yes, the camera is changed for the record, mind you. So feel free to follow me on Twitter at this address at judge underscore Cradle. You can follow me on Twitter as well. Now, there are some golden rules laid down for this show, which I was typing out for the last good few minutes before I got here on the air. And here it is as follows. Insults are not allowed on this show. The broadcaster has reserves the right to block and ban either individual. That goes to any individual. And individuals under 18 are not permitted on this show because it's a late night show. 1 second. This show is age restricted, mainly for the simple reason preventing youngsters from getting involved. So, so I'd rather be protecting myself right here on commentary right now as I currently speak. So we're live on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. So do feel free to follow in. And more importantly, this on the bottom to what it says on the tin, listenership is advised to consult with parents or guardian. Well, I'm afraid with that matter, that might not happen. But if you do tend to tune in, then just be very wary. Just be very wary. Listenership is advised. The reason why I put it there because I do not want under no circumstances heat getting back at me and younger audiences being offended. And our microphone level is down to 58% as I currently speak. And this has also topped the list. FAI officials must accept players' rights on COVID-19 vaccines. Credit to the OTE website from earlier on this week, earlier on today, from what I am made aware of. And the good news, ladies and gentlemen, on track. Wow. On track to lift most restrictions by October 22. Credit to the RTE website. Once again, it seems to me that we may be on a bit of a roll here. That I will freely say. That I will freely admit. And let's just hope it stays that way. And, and if it stays that way, then bingo. Well, let's just hope that these numbers will go down. And the more they go down, the better the chances we have of possible not wearing masks. So let's have these crossed, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have these crossed, have these fingers crossed, and make sure that nothing happens. Shout outs also, ladies and gentlemen, right here on Twitch. Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube are also welcome. So we're live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube, just for your information. And this, more importantly, guests are most welcome to join into the show and comment. Comments must be genuine. Now, the reason why I say genuine, because we like to hear genuine comments from random individuals on how they're doing and on how they're feeling during this invisible nightmare that has been crawling on our tails for the last nearly 2 years or so. Anyway, so that's what's more important right here. YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, etc. So we're live on 3 platforms as I currently speak. Might as well just remove that last link there. And just before we got on the air, there I did say live in 10 minutes, though I did put an extra video clip in that I'd done there moments ago. You will see that replay on YouTube, though the clip did not last very long. That video dates back to September 5 there of several weeks ago, nearly last month. Well, last month. It was a month yesterday, mind you. That was in reference to random individuals trying to block an ambulance of bringing a patient into a medical facility in the United States, which is quite honestly disgusting. And every day, lives are at stake every day of the week when it gets to COVID-19 crisis. And yeah, I have been hot on the case with that because look at these things right here need to be talked about like a lumpet. It's not to the audience, but it's to people in general when I say that. Lives are at stake every fucking day of the bleeding week. Every day. Every second counts. That, my fellow friends, Twitchers, Twitters, and Twitchers, and YouTubers, is known as the golden hour. Every second fucking counts here. Every second counts. And that's what's most important here. Now, I know, look, I'm telling it like it is here in commentary, right? Um, I will speak my mind to what I have to say. And quite honestly, I do feel very strongly for these individuals that have this horrible, disgusting illness. I feel very strongly about it. I have been talking about it in the last few days, as been well documented here on YouTube. The last stream I done was about several hours ago, and you can catch the link right here on our screen. There it is for those of you to join. Right there. That is how you just simply click on that link and you simply put your name in, then you join in the show, just like what happened to an individual earlier on today, and twice that person joined in the show. And that was one of my colleagues from work from back in the day. So all you have to do, click on that link, and then a little avatar will creep up on the left hand side of my screen here on my desktop computer screen here, and you are in the show right here on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. So you're live on three platforms. And you know something, as I said last night on commentary on my live vlogs last night, uh, I got my confidence back. I got it back. And I'm more confident enough now to be using this and these talking to you and communicating out to the audience. And that's exactly to what I want to do, is to communicate out to you. As I said last night in my previous commentaries, it's about developing a relationship with the audience and making friends on social media, which is, I wouldn't say bizarre, but it's very, very strange. But it's nice to make friends on social media. Just there last night, my beloved partner was part of the show, and now we're looking for some more individuals to join the show. Now, one person did ask me earlier on this week. One person said to me, "I am free between 6 and 7." Well, unfortunately, as I said to him there, for those who saw the replay right here on YouTube at the time before I started broadcasting on two other streams, that I was unable to do that. The reason why we're broadcasting around 11 because I want to broadcast in United States time around between 7 p.m. between 6 and 7 p.m. United States time, West Coast time in the United States, because I have friends that live in the United States and I would like them to be part of the show. It's not just the United States that deserves to be part of the show, ladies and gentlemen. No, no. I would like here for those here living here in the Republic to be part of the show. That's what this stream is about. That's what we're about here. What I'm interested in is really simple. It's not about people's gory details or anything like that. No, I would like to hear to what any individual has to say here on this stream on how they felt in the last nearly over 17 to 18 months. I would like to know to what and how they have felt. And this is on a serious, genuine note. This is. I would love to know their issues and all. Well, I wouldn't say issues, but I would love to know that what they have been through, what it was like for them, etc. I would like to know that. And believe you fucking me, folks, it's no laughing matter. It's no laughing matter. When you are trapped in a situation like that, it's like you're like the individual, say for the likes of myself or any other individual in general, is trapped in their own fucking bubble. And that's not a pleasant position to be in. But more importantly, the individuals that have suffered mental breakdowns, mental health issues, pardon the manner, please. Like, my sympathies go out to that. But more importantly, is that the sympathies right here on live broadcasting tonight, live here on Restream, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube, 3 to 4 platforms, sympathies do go out to the families that lost a loved one due to this disgusting illness. And that to me is personal. It's personal to me because a friend of mine was sick. Two of my relatives, unannounced as an unnamed, were ill. And thankfully, they have fucking recovered. Thankfully, they have fucking recovered from this horrible onslaught. So, if you think for a split second for the next hour or two on this live broadcast that this is a funny game, you are gravely and sadly mistaken. Because I do encourage our viewers to get the vaccine, adding to that to save a life. I do encourage people to do that. What we're going to do right now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a few minutes time out, and we'll be right back. Do not go away. It is just after 28 minutes past 10, 28 minutes past 5, and 28 minutes past 2 on the West Coast. How are we all doing this afternoon? And yes, it's a night time over here, 10 p.m., and it's chill out time. And, and what a way to what a way to wind down. I hope everyone is having a good night. Well, we all know that the cases here in the Republic have risen up to this figure. And believe you me, it is still unreal. And that has been the news of the last nearly over a year and a half. So over 1,558 cases and 51 patients are in ICU here in the Republic, according to figures and sources. I am not too sure to whether you are located in the States or around the globe, respectively. If you like to follow us, you can follow us on our blog page right here on Facebook as well. Also, this is broadcasted on Twitch as well. Facebook.com/groups. It's a public page, and you will be asked some specific questions. How did you hear about us? Etc. So to speak. If the person's unable to answer, then there is a possible of a refusal of entry. You could also follow me on Twitter right here. Do feel free. My Twitter address is right there, twitter.com/jcrowdle, which is me, and I'm your host. And you could tweet me directly for those who know me personally on this address. So do feel free whenever you can. Have you ever been let down on a few given occasions by random individuals and saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, I won't do this and do that again"? Well, quite frankly, it has happened to two friends of mine earlier on this week, and quite honestly, I've just about had enough of these two clowns. And I who know who these two clowns are, respectively speaking. As far as I'm concerned, that they can go feck off for themselves. And since this is a live stream, it's prime time right here in the Republic and the United Kingdom, respectively. Say whatever the heck I like. But for this person to say that I can or cannot hang out with this and that, it doesn't justify them. It doesn't give them the right to judge. So, ma'am, what you've done is that you judged us. By judging people, for the likes of myself and two of my other friends, well, that's where the shit really does hit the fan. And quite honestly, I'm not liking that. But at the end of the day, ma'am, guess what? I want to assure you on one thing. It is your loss. You can bank on that for sure. Because I hold no sympathy if this commentary bites you in the ass. I will hold no sympathy. None. So, how dare you judge two of my other friends, to whoever they are? Oh, I know who they are. But on live broadcasting right now, here on Twitch and Restream, I'm not mentioning names. So don't fuck around with me, ma'am. Do not fuck around because what you've done, you you messed around with the wrong individuals. What we're going to do is now is we're going to take a quick time out. And we are back. And yes, just had a long bit of a break. And here is the next question that I really, really want to deliver out. But I am going to give a pot shot out to someone that I kind of know the most. And here it is: three, two, and one, and the blast off. Here we go. Do you feel it is right for any other mom to judge other individuals in general? That includes possibly myself or to two other individuals in general. Hmm. I know where this is all boiling down to a head, and I said this in the opening. And I said this that I would make it public. I was told not to, but to heck with it. I know who the individuals are, and I know who the mom is. Right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back live here on Restream, and we're back on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, broadcasting on all three platforms here. And yes, I did go for a nice little banana and a cigarette break, and while I was on a lengthy break there, I was using that last clip to what you just saw there was from last month, and now that has closed off. So feel free to follow me on this. You can follow us on Twitter at judge underscore cradle if you like to follow me. And this also is most important. Guests are welcome to join in the show. It could be friends, it could be argument's sakes, acquaintances, whatever, call it what you will. And they're more than welcome to join in the show. And more importantly, to our loyal audience out there, is that shout outs are most welcome to this live show. Shout outs are most welcome. And more importantly, the golden rule to this is that I just wrote this before I got on the air. Excuse me. I wrote this before I got on the air. Insults are not allowed to the show. The broadcaster has every right to block or either ban either individual. So beware, beware, because I'm the type of individual that doesn't take BS from either individual here, quite honestly. And I just like to keep the show as honest as possible, and that's it. And we do not, for the record, allow trolls because it could compromise the safety of myself and other individuals in between that may be live on the show, and we do not, under no circumstances, want our guests to be picked on. And yes, we are live on the air. We're live. And that in there. And let's just put that there. And we're broadcasting live from the Republic of Ireland. So a special shout out to our friends in the US, Canada, New York City, New Hampshire, etc. New Hampshire's kind of a soft spot for me anyway. I was there several years ago, as I mentioned there last night in my previous commentaries, And boy, oh boy, what a blast it was. And I tell you one thing, as soon as we got there, I did not even want to leave the place, the son of a bitch. I didn't even want to fucking leave it, to be quite honest. So that was quite fun. So what did I do today? Well, I had a friend call me, one done shopping, and I was having a bit of a struggle with my leg, with my knee, whatever. But at the same time, I will overcome it. I made it clear to my friend that called me on my phone there recently that I am going to fight this as much as possible. For those who know me personally, I am still on the meds, one down and two to go. So I'll be taking the next one in the next hour or so, anyway, before I hit the siesta, etc., so to speak. And today's news is for those who have missed out on this, Mr. Barack tells Vinegal TDs an extensive booster program is needed for this winter. Hmm. The question is, I think there's a lot of asking going around, and that means more money is going to be dished out from the government to pay for these program vaxxers, whatever you want to call it. I think that's the way I look at that. So next week, I was informed by a friend of mine saying, "Hey, Judge, you got a call." Well, I didn't get a call, but one of my friends got the call saying, "Hey, we like to have your son and daughter in to get the flu jab, etc." So next week, well, I'm not afraid to feck with it. I'm going to take the jab for the third or fourth time in a row, whatever it is now. And to tell you the truth, for those who are squeamish about little prods going into your arm or your wrist or your leg, I'm not one bit afraid. I'm not one bit afraid. When I got my first vaccine there this past March of this year of 2021, I think it was March 29, it was. And one person said to me, Jesus Christ, you're not afraid of anything, are you? I said, you must be a junkie or something like that. But the person said it to me as a joke. I went, oh yeah, I dealt with that. But for the record, I don't deal with that fucking crap. I really don't deal with that stuff. I really don't. Just for the record, I do not deal with, I do not deal with that. I do not deal with that stuff. Absolutely not. And yes, I did mute out my microphone there for a good, well, for a second or two anyway, because I did not, in case if there's any younger audiences being tuned into the show, etc. Now, to what you've seen there last month, uh, while I was on commercial break, the stream I done last month using that as a commercial break. Yeah, I was using the video and I was using the music as a commercial. So that's what I wanted to do. So what I should have done was I should have used one of those videos as a reflection of my last videos that I done on Restream there from several months ago. So for those who have missed out on that, you will catch that clip, not in its entirety, but I used that video as a commercial simply because I'm on the basic package scheme, that is, and that is on the easy scheme. When I first started using this platform, which is which I love it, which quite honestly I'm addicted to it. To be honest with you, it's like if I'm hooked onto it, and I like using this app. It's I love the effects in the background. The effects are fucking awesome. What you see in the background there, it's like a bubble blanket flowing around or something. I'm not too sure to what it is, but there's also plenty of graphical effects here. There's one of them right here. There's the logo on the top left there. The Restream live. Yeah, and we are live. We're live on YouTube, we're live on Twitch and Twitter, respectively. So that's showing up on all three platforms as I currently speak. So I like using this. And then we have the countdowns and the basic ones for around 59 to 29 to 30 seconds. Argument's sake said this one right here. So that's basically it. So they're the only basic countdowns that I'm currently allowed to use. But I was looking at, I just want to make a very valid point here while I'm live here on the air. And this is an encouragement to all first time streamers. If you are, and I'll say this again, and I'm saying this for kind of a encouragement, motivational type of stuff. If you are going to broadcast an event such as this, stick to the date and the day and the time. Stick to the time. If you say on your commentary, I'll be broadcasting around 11 o'clock at night, you stick to that date, that time at night. Or you can broadcast during the day as well. So you have to commit yourself to what you're going to do the next day or tonight or the day after tomorrow, argument section, which will be a Friday. Today is a Wednesday, and it's just going on quarter to midnight, quarter to seven, quarter to four Eastern time, etc. And I hope, for the record, earlier on in my last commentary, I did not get my time zones wrong. I certainly hope not. If so, shame on me, and hands up, that's my bad if I did get my time zones wrong. My apologies to that. But I do plan on getting a few clocks in here in reference to time zones, because when you're broadcasting out to the world, not to the nation, but you're broadcasting out to the nation and the world at the same time, you need, say, about uh, 2, 3 clocks in here in the booth or something like that. So, so if there's a person from the United States listening in, they know what time they tune into you at because it is advertised, because you put it there on the screen. It was there on the screen. So I stuck I stood to I stood to my promise, I did. And if you cannot keep a promise that you cannot keep, bear this in mind. What is the point of doing a live broadcast? The broadcast, as I said before, can be about anything. It could be about a subject that you like. Argument sake, swimming, gardening, uh, jet ski, or ski, winter sports, swimming, something like that in that nature. That's what this platform's about. That's what the platform's about. Creativity. Get creative in your commentary. Like, if you want to do humor on commentary, like I done last night with my partner here in the booth, and I'm sure that might get a few hits out. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? That is the viewer's discretion because they now know, excuse me, they now know it is a PG podcast, or broadcast, excuse me. But what I do in my spare time while I'm not here on microphone, camera, and yes, I do like this camera because it's good quality. I do like it. Like what I do in my spare time is a podcast, but we do not upload it because the last time I done something like that, I uploaded my podcast onto YouTube, and it was all related to wrestling stuff. I had the actual announcers commentating in the background. That's one. Two, myself commentating over it. So I get a reply back from one of the social media platforms there several weeks ago and said slight copyright. There's a copyright claim, but luckily and thankfully that there was no strike against me. The reason why for that, it's simply of because I do firmly think and feel they knew what I was trying to do, like dub over the actual commentators to talk over them and then let them tell the commentary, then me stay quiet, then me talk over them. So that is how I do my commentaries. And what we do on our commentaries on a few weekly basis, whatever. We won't be commentating this week now because we're giving commentary a break. We're giving our podcasts a break. And we like to give the microphones a break. We like to give the headsets a break. We like to do that. That's what we like to do. So this week is going to be just something different, and just to, what way would I put it? We're just going to do something different this week. We're just going to do something this week, and it's just going to be interesting for sure. Anyway, that is for sure. So that's basically it. So for those who were kind of offended with my commentary on one of the platforms that I uploaded on, I think it was YouTube, I think, I do sincerely apologize. And I did make a statement about that. But hey, you learn from the mistakes that you make, and that's really it. And there's nothing that can be done. Look, hey, it was a claim, simple, but thankfully, as I said there moments ago, seconds ago, that no strike was set against me. Thankfully, because I would hate to wind up in a or wind up in jail or something like that, and then being, by argument's sake, Fortune 500s. I am no I am no Donald fucking Trump, that is for sure. That is for certain. So there's the notification to what you see on the screen. And yes, I did have my microphone off. We are live on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. Do feel free to join us whenever you can, and be delighted to hear from you. See what you have to say. You can write in a comment, or you can click on this link right here. You get it? There we go. Oh, it's already there. I'll just put it out there again for those who have missed it. Shall we do it? This is the same link. There we go. Just put that out there. Just put it out there, and there is the link on the bottom end of your screen. Click on that link, then type in your name, and you are part of the show. And do not worry, I'm not going to bite the friggin' head off of you because this is a nighttime broadcast. Uh, this is strictly for over 18s, and you are safe than a baby in its mama's arms. So do trust me, we are looking for guests to join. We are over 62 minutes. We are just about 62 minutes and over 11 to 13 seconds into the broadcast. Let's just hope that this broadcast will last a bit longer. Now, last night, some individual texted into the show saying, "Bring back Hand Grenade 72." Now, let me explain that part if I may. Hand Grenade 72 was a CB handle that I had back in the day, many years ago. And just for your edification, that I still have CB radios at my old home to wherever that is miles away from here. And when I was on the CB radios, I picked up a lot of people from different states. From I think the furthest I've reached out to was the United States and Brazil, one of those two. In my old home base, where I was back in the day, there was a guy from America, and I had to get out of the shed quick because I had to take care of something. He sounded like, let's just put it this way, not disrespecting people from the United States. No, forget about that. No, 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 no. There was this man from the United States of America to wherever he was. Let's just say between Texas to Arkansas or to Mississippi, as an example. Just use that as an example. And when I went code 1035, code 1017, etc., They understood the code. They understood the radio code to what I was saying, and they totally got it. And using them back in the fucking day was absolutely cool. Then I reached up as far as here in the Republic of Ireland. I reached up as far as the Wicklow Mountains. And for those who are familiar with CB radios back then, I reached up to the Wicklow Mountains via USB. Now, not a USB to what you use on your computer here, no, but a USB on your CB radio, USB ultra sideband. And there was SSB, single sideband. Then you had your AMs, and then you had your FMs, etc. So my very first uh, CB radio was a middle just a 40 channel AM radio, 40 channel. Now, for those who do not know about CBs, I'll just give you a quick intro on it. When I was using the CB radio, first of all, you have to tune in your antenna, and you had to get a little meter with an SWR, standing wave radio. That's what it stood for. So we had to get one of them. That's what we had to do. Go up to channel 20 to test out the meter to make sure it was fully tuned in. If it was going over the limit, it's not fully grounded or earthed, the antenna. So the antenna, any movement that you make on the fucking antenna, you have to retune the CB radio. You have to retune that. You have to retune it. That's what you had to do. And so it goes for every magnetized antenna, any movement that you make, it has to be retuned time and time again, preventing further damage to your CB radio. Now, there was a CB radio that I got back in the early days. Oh my God. Jeez. Say about middle of the noise. I can't really remember when. I paid about, what was it? I paid about 300 pounds for it. That's how much I had to pay for it, close enough to the £400 range. And paying was very, very steep. It took me about 3 to 6 months to save up for that. And to whoever that shop was, I had to go in on a weekly basis to pay deposits on, say, about 5, 10, 15, 20 pound a week, argument's sakes, back in those times. So that's what I had to fucking use. But CB radios back then, which I liked so much, they were awesome to use. So I met my longtime friend, unnamed for the record. I met him on channel 19, which is the actual channel that most trucker dudes would use. Now, here's the funny part to what was addressed to me last night. The reason for the hand grenade 72, because there was a guy that called me hand grenade every time that I was on channel 19 most days. Without failure of a beat, the guy would be on the air with me. And his signal back then, true story, no exaggeration, folks, his signal was so strong that it was on a 9 by 5 scale, or 9 by 3 or 9 by 5, depending to wherever the person is located. But when you go out of range, you hear this in the back because the guy is fading out because he's going further and further afield, etc. So CB radios were fun to use, but I remember the most awkward time when I went on the CB radio was that it was around 6 p.m. This is when the news channels really kicked into fucking play now. And here is the most frustrating fucking bit ever: TVI interference. I had an aerial which was about this fucking gigantic, big, this wide, whatever you want to fucking big Solarcon, Solarcon 820, if I can remember correctly. It was that. The antenna was that fucking big. So that created a lot of interference. That did a lot of interference. And I remember some individual complaining about me back in the day to whoever it was, to whoever that son of an on name goat was back in the day, complaining about me using using the CB radio and creating havoc and clicking on the button and talking out to trucker dudes, breaker 19, etc., whatever the case might be. Back in those times, true story, I couldn't have fucking peace. I felt some of my hobbies were fucking taken away at that point. I was. This is around the middle of the noughties era, for Christ's sakes, this was. And so I had to wait a good while to use the CB again. Talk about news freaks, to whoever these individuals are, for fuck's sake. It was just awful. I couldn't even broadcast out to one of my trucker dudes, to one of my fellow CBers. I couldn't even, at that point, broadcast out some of the time to most of my friends around between six, half six, seven, because most people would be watching Coronation Street and Fair fucking City. My God, Jesus, it drove me nuts. It drove me absolutely insane, ladies and gentlemen. It drove me nuts, it did. So here's the question. If you had a CB radio in your home base or your car or your truck, here's the question, and I will punch it up on the screen now in a few short moments' time. Did it create TVI interference for you? Did you receive complaints from various individuals that you might have known in the past or back in the day, or possibly still know to this very day? What we're going to do right now, we are going to take a quick commercial timeout. We'll be right back. Let's see, find a clip here. Right, we are live, ladies and gentlemen. A very good afternoon to Restream.io. And yes, this is a feature. Also, we're featuring on Twitch. And the reason why you see that little black logo there, let me explain. We're talking about the mental health and how people were coping from this past year, from 2020 up until now, 2021, which we're halfway across the new year, halfway out of it. How did I feel? I felt absolutely okay. I thought it was going to be a walk in the park, for the record, just for the start. That wasn't the case. I can remember taking some anxiety attacks. Mood swings started to kick into play. Breakup or relationship started to kick into play. Oh boy, did I pay for that one big time. Hmm. Oh boy. And you can follow me on this link right here on your screen. That is what you can do. And for those who are a fan, I came prepared because here is the link for you individuals out there, for you fans out there, facebook.com/groups /wrestling update. Do join us in there right here if you want to. And I'm also available on this web link as well. And there you see it right on the boom, right there on your screen. TikTok.com /vlogger or judge. And we're only a minute and 42, and we are alive on the air. And do not worry, private chats are secured here. I just stumbled, I do not know how. I stumbled across this website just last night. Do not ask me no. Do not ask me how I done that. I just did. So between Ustream to this, I don't know which is better. Or between Twitch to here, I do not know which is better, quite frankly. I really do not know which is the best option. And yes, I'm just making sure that my microphone is turned on for the record. And for those who are wondering what is going on in the latest world of news, we have a blog page set up since nearly 2 years ago, well over a year and a half ago. I decided to create this one, facebook.com /groups, which is known as the blog page. So do feel free to join that. Now, we've been having some problems with our blog page in the last several days, several weeks. We've been having all sorts of issues, and it's a pain in the tush, pain in the ass, quite frankly. And when you have people from unknown, okay, nothing to do with race or culture, nothing to do with that racial or culture, none of that. No, we don't condone that. But what we do not condone on our blog page on social media is fake profile pics and fake locations. We do not appreciate that. And I am the admin. We got two other admins on the other end of the line, though they're not here as I currently speak because they are someplace else. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, here is the Twitter address right there. That is my Twitter address, ting, ting, right there. If you want to look up my bio on Twitter, it is right here. 5 minutes, 4 minutes into the commentary. There's my Twitter address right there. So back to here, back to the COVID cases from this past year. It was an absolute nightmare. Mood swings started to kick into play. Relationships were severely fucking tested. It was absolutely tested for sure. And you talk about being tested. Uh, First of all, okay, I was having a little bit of fun with this one because at that point I was not involved with someone till the middle of this past year. I started to get involved with someone. Then some Yahoo says to me, "Oh, you changed all of a sudden because you're in a relationship." Well, son, there was reasons why I changed because I wanted to get the fuck out of the house for a change and take my relationship seriously and stop fabbing about as I'm playing around. That's what I wanted to do. So the COVID cases this past year of 2020, though it says 2021, the cases this past year and this year has been unreal. Do not get me the wrong way. And for those who have noticed on my Facebook page, on my blog page, which I will log into again, what you see here is like I've been doing less reporting on that. Let me explain that part if I may. The reason why I've done less reporting on that is simply because people were getting a bit pissed off. And when people get pissed off, they get pissed off. And that's it. And it's, let's just say, put it this way, in a very sad note, people have lost loved ones due to this horrible condition of COVID 19s they've had between this past year and now this year to what you see on your screen. It was an absolute pillock. It was a nightmare, an absolute nightmare. No one could go anywhere at that point in time here in the Republic. No one. At that point, if I can remember correctly, you're only allowed to go at a 2 mile radius, 2 kilometer radius. You could not go even outside the country to cycle on your fecking bike. For those who live in the County Wexford area between Pink Rock to Shambo or the Ferry Bridge or wherever it is that you are from here in the southeast region, you could not even cycle out there. The cops will be on your fecking tail. We had the strictest regimes of lockdowns ever in the history of this country. And trust me, we've had. And then all of a sudden, all this hoodlah with NAFIT, whatever you want to call it, started really, really clamping down on individuals. And this was an organization at that time from 2020, or well over a year ago now, I didn't even hear of before. NAFIT didn't even exist in my fucking head until I heard of it. Till I started to grasp very, very slowly. I says, who the fuck are these guys? What do they do? National Health Public Emergency Teams, whatever that you want to bleeding call it. So the way I looked at that back in the day, NAFIT at that point had no right to intervene into the politicians' issues. So they became the politicians with them. So what that means is the leader of this country, whoever his flipping name is, Mr. whatever his name is, and yes, I did mute my mic because I dislike the son of a bitch. The leader of this country has made it a complete kip, and so has Baraka. A lot of people have been criticizing about that. What we're going to do right now, talkers, not talkers, streamers, should I say, we are going to take a quick time out. We'll be right back. Do not go away. Right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back live. We are 1 hour and 23 minutes, and we're going to stop sharing that link. And we're going to stop sharing that as well. So, those were my experiences on dealing with the CB radios back in the day, and it was a good hobby. It was a fun while it lasted, etc., so to speak. So, what we're going to do in the next couple of minutes, we're going to head off the air. I do believe that the streaming traffic right here is quite quiet, pretty quiet. And for those who have missed out on the live stream, you will see the replay on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. So we'll be heading off in the next couple of moments' time. Turn on the chat relay. Let me check out on. I will go to Twitch. That should do it. But for the moment, we're live on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. So do feel free to join us. So, for those who are wanting to join the show sometime in the future, whenever you can, do feel free. Here are the rules as follows. Insults are not allowed to this show. The broadcaster has every right to block and ban either individual to whomever it might be. And just now, officially yesterday's news, 12:17, after midnight here, Mr. Farragut tells Fine Gael 3 days that an extensive booster program is needed for the winter. And this that was a different stream. Okay, and the other ones here. But more important, in case if younger individuals are listening in, just using this the disclaimer as a cautionary, listenership is advised. Do consult with your parents or guardian, respectively. Well, that wraps it up for this live stream tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good evening. Have a good night. Good evening, good morning to wherever you are watching in the world, and do stay